Hi everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing the board game Kuiperium. Now in Kuiperium, the object of the game is you're going to be trying to collect different resources and trying to move your ship all the way up to the end of the board first. So let's check it out. Okay guys, so the object of Kuiperium is you're going to be trying to get your ship all the way over here to the end first. So this is a worker placement game, and there's a lot of different rewards that you can get in this game, and I'm going to go ahead and place the card here that you can see. It's going to have all these different symbols over here, and each of the symbols are going to have a reward, and it's just going to basically explain what those rewards are. So I'm going to go over a little bit of those, but I'm mainly going to just be showing you kind of how the game works. So in the beginning, everybody is going to be receiving 5 of these cards over here, and I'm going to go ahead and show you one of the cards and explain how they work. So right over here, this is going to be what you are going to receive when you play this card here on the board. Now you have your half here, and then your opponent is going to have their half over there. So in this case, this one says, reveal and discard the top card of the deck, gain that card's recall reward. So you're simply going to just follow what the instructions are. Right over here on the top, these are the resources. Now your opponent is going to be receiving these resources if they decide to play a worker over there and then recall the worker. So the way it works is you're going to play the card over here on your side, but your opponent will have the option to play a worker on your card. They're going to have to play workers on your side of the board. So that's a unique aspect of it. On the corners of the card, there's going to be different colors. This is what is called synergy. Now synergy is what is going to be used to help you gain discovery points, which is what these are. Whenever you are able to collect exactly the amount of discovery points from a recall, which is another action, you will be able to move your ship up that amount. But you're going to have to do that in one instance. So here's an example. Let's say I play the card over here. I'm going to look at these two. This is going to be worth 1 discovery point because I have 2 of these together. And you're going to be able to collect these discovery points by one of these recall rewards that is on the side. Also on the card, it's going to give you a color, and the color is going to be used for these tokens over here and some of the cards. These tokens are what are called affinity tokens. Whenever you do what's called a jettison, which I'll talk about, you'll be able to flip over this card, and this is going to give you a bonus action. This one says when you play a silver card, you may also play a worker or collect these 2 resources over here. And again, the resources are going to be on the card that is to your right. The Kuiperium is this resource over here, and this essentially is going to count as money, and you're going to be able to use these mainly for the control center, but there's also other uses. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you some of the other cards. This is a wild, so this will count as any one color. But here's a card. This one says, reveal the top card of the deck, either discard it or add it to your play area, ignoring the play effect. But there are a whole bunch of different cards over here that have different texts and different types of resources on here as well. Right over here are your workers. You're going to be using these workers to gain resources, and you're going to be playing them here in your opponent's area. And you're going to be storing your Kuiperium over here. Right over here is what is called the secret lab. Now, in the game, you're going to be receiving 5 cards, and you're going to be placing one of them in the secret lab to start. Now, certain cards you can only play from the secret lab. Other cards like this one, this is going to give you a bonus. This one says if you play this card from your secret lab, you'll be able to recall all of your workers along with getting this resource. So let's just say I decide at the beginning I'm going to go ahead and play a card here. And I'll have these 4 cards right here. So here's the different actions I can do. I can do one of 5 actions. One I can do is I can play a card. Let's just say I decide to play this card, and I'm going to play it over here. I can play it diagonally like this, but I have to play it adjacent to one of these. This card says read and discard the top card of the deck and gain that recall reward. So I'm going to go ahead and look, and the recall reward is going to be right here. This is going to give me a Kuiperium, so I'll go ahead and take that. And this one will also allow me to destroy 2 Kuiperium from my opponent. Now, right now they don't have any, but that's what this would do. So I'm going to go ahead and discard that, and that will be the end of my turn. I'll have played my card. The second thing I can do is I can play a worker. So I can play a worker over in this section. This is the control center. This will give me this resource, which is going to be big as far as trying to get points. This one is the mining installation. Essentially what that is going to do is that is going to That's going to allow me to move workers, either mine or my opponents, which can be very handy. This is the spy network. What that's going to do is it's going to allow me to pay a Kuiperium back to the general supply and discard a card from my side of the board, which I could discard cards from here, which can be helpful if there's like a certain card my opponent is using a lot. And then, of course, you have the smuggling freighter. This will give me a Kuiperium, essentially. But again, my opponent can go ahead and play cards on mine. So let's just say, for example, my opponent happened to have this card out over here or something like that. One thing I could do is I could play a worker over here, and then this is going to give me access to these 3 resources over here. A third action I can do is I can add a card to my secret lab. What I would do in this case is I would just simply take the card that is here and swap it out with another card that's in my hand like so. A fourth thing I can do is I can refresh my hand. Essentially what that means is if I run out of cards or I just want to trade in cards, I can just trade in my hand and get 4 more cards. And the fifth one is recalling the workers. Now, recalling the workers is how you're going to go ahead and get these resources. So, for example, let's say I recall this worker over here. I'm going to gain a Kuiperium, a discovery point, and then I'm also going to gain the ability to move a worker. So I'll go ahead and get my Kuiperium. This is going to give me a discovery point, which means since I have met the requirements to get 1 discovery point from one of the workers, I'll go ahead and move my ship up 1, like so. Now the thing is that you have to do this from 1 worker by either a combination of playing cards or these things. You can't combine them with other workers. But essentially, here's how the control center works. This is a big one over here. If you end up recalling a worker from here, you're going to spend 4 Kuiperium, then put it over here, and this is going to allow you to do a couple of things. First thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a card and look at their synergy value. This one has 1, so this is going to allow me to go ahead and move up 1. Second thing I'm going to be able to do is the card I picked, I'm going to go ahead and discard, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this card's affinity bonus. This is a blue card, so when I discard this, I'm going to go ahead and flip over this one over here, and this is going to give me this bonus ability for the rest of the game. And right over here, there's what's called strategy cards. Now, in the beginning, everybody's going to be receiving 3 of these. These are essentially extra things. This one says move any number of workers. Here's one that says if your opponent has a card in the secret lab, you may add it to your hand. So what you'll do in the beginning is you're going to draw 3 of these cards, and you're going to play 1 of these whenever you get to this section. But anyway, also on the board, if you end up moving a ship to these areas, you're going to gain the resources here, and you're ultimately trying to be the first one to get here, and whoever is the first one there is going to win the game. Man, I absolutely love this game. I love the way how the cards work with each other. With the synergy, having the corners, that's awesome. I really like that a lot. Trying to get multiple discovery points is kind of a challenge because you have to, first of all, have enough corners, and then you also have different cards that you can play, but you have to kind of play them right at the same time so you can get some of those multiple points. But really smart idea having cards that have 2 different things that they can do. Number 1, you have the cards that have the different abilities on them that you can play on your side, but then they have the resources that your opponent can play workers on. That is really cool. I think the game is a great back and forth game. It's kind of funny when you're starting to play cards that end up hurting your opponent. I had a card that my wife played on me that sent me to detention, for example, but then I had a card that was able to remove one of her cards, so I got myself out of detention. So there's a lot of back and forth going on, and that's one of the cool things about the game. There's so many different cards that have all these different abilities on them, and then you can gain different abilities from the infinity cards. So really cool. I really like this game. I definitely would recommend it. All right, guys, that's my review of Kuiperium. We'll see you later. Keep on gaming.